Although the broader economy has been quite strong over the past few years, one could argue that the real estate market has actually been in its own recession or the grasps of a recession. Let me explain. Total home sales have declined from 6 million in 2021 to right around 4 million in 2023. And it looks as though those sales numbers are going to come in about the same in 2024. But mortgage rates have finally started falling, and the possibility of the Federal Reserve cutting interest rates starting as early as this month could mean that we are about to turn the corner in real estate. So in today's video, I'm going to be diving into the numbers to show you what's really going on in the Frisco market and what it means for you if you are a buyer or a seller. And make sure you stick around till the end, because if you are in the market to buy, I'm going to share with you where some of the absolute best deals are that can be found in today's market. Hi, this is Andrew with the Andrew Smith team, eXp Realty here in Frisco, Texas. And today I want to bring you the latest update on the Frisco real estate market for September 2024. Now, you might be wondering, or at least have the question, okay, if he just said the real estate market's in a recession or has been in a recession, why haven't home prices dropped? Why haven't we seen a decline in home prices and better affordability? And to be honest with you, it all comes down to basic economics, and that's supply and demand. So despite the slowdown in total sales, we're still in an ultra low inventory environment, which means demand has been outpacing supply. And when demand exceeds supply, prices stay elevated, even in a sluggish real estate market. So what does all of this mean for buyers and sellers? Is this a seller's market? Is it a buyer's market? What's even the difference between the two? So let's dig deeper into that and share what the latest inventory numbers are telling us. Now, a seller's market, as you can see on this chart, is what we've actually been in for the past decade. And that usually occurs when there is less than about 5 months worth of housing inventory. When we get between 5 and 7 months, it's considered a balanced market that doesn't favor buyers or sellers. And then when the inventory gets up over 7 months, the market generally is considered in favor of buyers. Now, to give you an example of this, an extreme example, if you like, think of the frenzy just a couple of years ago when multiple offers were the norm. Buyers were having to bid well above the list price. You were having to waive appraisals, not ask for any repairs, and things like that. That would be an example of an extreme seller's market. So the conditions that existed greatly favored the home seller rather than the buyer. And as you can imagine, on the flip side, when it's a buyer's market, again, which we haven't seen in a really long time, everything is basically reversed. The buyer is in control and has much more negotiating power when there's plenty of homes for sale and there's lots of choice for buyers out there. Now, for clarification purposes, when we're talking about inventory or month supply in real estate, what that's actually telling us is how long would it take for all of the homes currently listed for sale to sell at the current pace of sales, right? So you kind of get that. So at the current pace of sales, if we've got a 5-month supply, that's how long it would take to deplete the market of all inventory. Now, obviously, it's fluid because homes come on and off the market each and every day, but that will at least give you an idea of what they're talking about when you start hearing about inventory and or month supply. Now, here in Frisco, we currently have about 4 months worth of inventory in the market, which is actually the most we've had since September of 2019. So supply is still relatively tight, which is why we haven't seen a significant drop in the price of homes, even though buyer demand has cooled. But that doesn't mean to say that we aren't seeing pricing trends change. All right, so this first screen that we're looking at here is tracking the median list price in Frisco over time. And I've got it zoomed in here so you can kind of see what it is that I'm going to be talking about. But this is last year, May of 2023. And as you can see, through the spring, prices increased fairly rapidly. They peaked in the summer, which is normal, and then started their seasonal decline. Now, this seasonal decline was steeper than we normally see due to the fact that a year ago, mortgage rates were rising rapidly. Now, this year, I know it's subtle, but you may notice that this climb up in prices that we saw in the spring, this isn't quite as steep as it was last year. Also, notice over here on the right-hand side, the peak. The peak isn't as pronounced. It is as though somebody stepped on the hill, so to speak, squashed it a little bit. Prices climbed and then plateaued for much longer than we normally see. And then the decline that we're seeing here is much more gradual, which is much more common with the seasonal trend, and also is an indication that we aren't seeing rapidly diminishing demand coupled with accelerating supply. Now, for anyone out there that's been hoping that we're going to see some big price decreases as we move into the fourth quarter, it's really not looking like that's going to happen. And I'm going to show you why as we look at the inventory trend graph here. All right, so what this graph here is showing us is the change in inventory over time. And what we're seeing here is something pretty typical. So this is what I was just talking about, the run-up in inventory that we've had this year, which is the most inventory we've had, again, since September of 2019. But as you can see right here, inventory peaked right around August 9th. So August 2nd, August 9th, August 2nd actually is when inventory peaked. And since then, although it's not dramatic, inventory has been falling. So again, remember, supply and demand is what controls pricing. And so we're not seeing the run up in inventory that you'd want to see in order to push prices down beyond the normal seasonal drop of prices we see every single fall. Another important piece of the puzzle when you're looking at whether or not prices are going to fall is to look at the number of price reductions that are taking place in the market. If you see increasing supply with increasing numbers of price reductions, that's a good indication that you're going to see prices start to fall in the months ahead. This graph that we're looking at here is actually tracking the percentage of homes that have taken a price decrease. And here's the interesting thing. It looks a lot like the inventory chart, doesn't it? So here we are. We peaked in this one right here, right around August 9th. So a little bit of a week later. And since that time, the percentage of homes having to take a price reduction before going under contract is falling. So again, as I just mentioned, increasing supply with increasing price reductions is a good indication that home prices are going to fall. Here we have falling inventory and falling price reductions, which is just indicating more of a seasonal balance, more of a seasonal norm in the market that we see each and every year, and doesn't give an indication that big price drops are on the horizon in the near future. Now, if you're interested in staying up to date on the market, those graphs I just shared are from my weekly market report. Now, in the description below, I have got a link to that report. I invite you to go and check it out. Not interested in Frisco? Not a problem. You can look up any city or zip code in the entire country from that report that I've linked to below. And if you go ahead and sign up, it will be delivered directly to your email each and every week. And that way you can track the trends that are happening in the market that's most of interest to you. Now, another piece of information I wanted to point out right now that's, again, further evidence that we're not going to be seeing big price declines here in Frisco, North Texas, or Texas as a whole overall. Will there be exceptions? Will there be pockets? Absolutely. That's always the case. But Up for Growth is a national housing policy organization, and they recently reported that Texas is currently about 306,000 homes short of meeting current demand. If we look just at the DFW Metroplex, the population of the Metroplex grew by over 462,000 people between 2020 and 2023. And just over 233,000 of those were new people moving in from out of state. So even though Texas leads the nation in the number of new single family home building permits being issued, it's still not enough to keep up with demand. So again, for all of the talk out there and all of the speculation, there's just this imbalance between supply and demand that doesn't look as though it's going to get corrected or balance itself out in the next few years. So where do we go from here? I mean, when is it the right time to make a move? Should you wait for mortgage rates to fall further? Should you wait hoping that all of this is wrong and home prices do fall? Or are they actually going to rise again? And the honest truth with all of this is that you're never going to be able to time the market perfectly, whether it's real estate, stocks, or anything else. You're never going to know that a given market has hit bottom or reached its peak until after it already has and it's passed. Now, this just isn't my opinion. So take a look at this quote from Jacob Channel. He's the senior economist at LendingTree, and he says, timing the market is basically impossible. If you're always waiting for the perfect market conditions, you're going to be waiting forever. And I think the key takeaway here is you need to make a move when it's the right time for you to make a move based on your situation, not based on trying to outguess, second guess where the market is actually heading. Now, at this point, I just want to say if you're finding value in today's video, then I invite you to go ahead, give me the thumbs up, and consider subscribing to this channel. I release new videos each and every week that talk about everything you need to know about the real estate market here in Frisco and the surrounding areas so that you can make that buying or selling decision that is best for you and your family. Now, some final thoughts to wrap up here is I want to be clear. I'm not an economist. I'm a real estate agent. I do have a business degree, but I'm not an economist. And I also don't have a crystal ball. I can't predict the future. But what I can do is spot trends. I've been doing this a really long time, and it's given me some insights into kind of see which way things are heading. But saying that, there are so many different scenarios that could impact what direction the markets are going to take in the next year. We've got a big election coming up. How's that going to play out? What's going to happen with wars, everything else going on? Again, a lot of uncertainty. But with all that being said, and based on what we know right now, we know that this month the Federal Reserve is starting or expected to start making a series of interest rate cuts. Those cuts will help bring mortgage rates down. Now, earlier this year, a survey was conducted by Bright MLS, one of the largest MLSs in the country, and they found that up to 70% of potential home buyers had paused their home buying plans due to high mortgage rates and affordability. I don't blame them. But as mortgage rates fall, what do you think those buyers are going to do? Right? All those buyers that put their home buying plans on pause are going to start coming back into the market. Maybe not all at once, but they will start coming back onto the market or coming back into the market, I should say. And as more buyers return, depending on how quickly sellers follow, you can expect that home prices are more than likely going to start rising again. But in saying that, I want to point out, I'm not talking about price rises or anything going on or, returning to that crazy frenzied market that we saw a couple of years ago with multiple offers and bidding wars. Okay, I don't see that happening. New construction has helped catch up, at least here. We're building more homes here than anywhere in the country. So there's more inventory than we've had in years, as I just pointed out. That is going to help soften the blow, so to speak. But If you're one of those people that's saying, well, as soon as home prices fall and mortgage rates get back into the mid fives, then I'm going to make that move, then there's honestly no evidence, no information right now that indicates that's going to be happening anytime soon. Rates into the mid fives, yeah, I do see that happening. But in the mid fives with a 10, 20, 30% drop in home prices, that I just don't see. And again, it's not my opinion. It's just based on simple economics. It's looking at supply and demand. But with that in mind, that's not to say that there aren't deals available in the current market. Now, if you're in the market for a new home and you are going or you're willing to consider new construction, those can offer some of the absolute best opportunities and best deals that you're going to find anywhere. Now, it's not all communities and it's not all homes and it's not homes that are to be built. I'm specifically talking quick move-in homes right now, homes that are done or will be done within the next month or so. I don't know if you saw it, but I recently did a video that showcased several of these homes in the Fields community here in Frisco. And I was showing you homes that have received price reductions of anywhere between 50 to over $400,000. And believe me, as we get closer to the end of the year, you're going to start seeing more deals like this. And if you happen to be in a position where you can take one of these quick move-in homes and close by the end of the year, then those are going to offer the absolute best opportunity that you are going to get all year long, because the builders want those off their books by the end of the year. So I thank you for spending some time with me today. I hope again that you found this information useful about what's going on here in the Frisco marketplace. If you have any questions whatsoever, then I invite you to reach out. There's a link in the description to my calendar. You can call or text the number on the screen. And please make sure you don't go anywhere, because I know you're going to enjoy one of these videos I've got coming up next.